News at 4 begins now.
We start with breaking news. A wild lightning storm last night has turned into an afternoon fighting wildfires west of Spokane.
And just take a look at all of the incredible photos and videos of the storm last night that you shared with us on social media. We say thank you, but as feared, these lightning strikes have led to wildfires today. Thanks for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
Good to have you with us. I'm Jane McCarthy. First, the numbers behind the breaking news. The National Weather Service picked up 30,000 cloud flashes and 3,500 lightning strikes. That means they actually touched the ground across the region in Idaho and eastern Washington. So if we zero in on Spokane County alone, 297 lightning strikes were reported.
So those strikes are suspected of causing multiple fires that are burning near Turnbull National Wildlife Refuge just west of Cheney.
Level 3 evacuations are in place right now south of Highway 904, west of Griffith Road, and north of the railroad tracks near the Wildlife Refuge. So level 3 is serious. It means leave now. KREM 2's Tim Pham is live on the scene. And Tim, what can you tell us from there?
Yeah, Jane, well, the sheriff's office telling us that if you are in that level 3 evacuation area, again, you do need to leave now. They are in the process of going door to door to make sure that everyone who is in that level 3 area knows that they need to leave. Level 2 means that you need to be ready to leave at a moment's notice. Right now, we're on Washington 904 right now and Griffith Road. That's what this fire is being called, the Griffith Fire. I'm told that within this containment area, there's 3 large fires amounting to about 40 acres, and that's they're worried that it is moving with this wind in this area. Right now, they tell me that they are trying to build a containment line around the fire right now. They're attacking this fire by air and on the ground. There are several airplanes in the area, and there are also there's one helicopter dropping water from above. Right now, they aren't saying that this is caused by lightning, but DNR does say it could be a factor.
So we had a lot of lightning strikes overnight, and we had a lot of starts from that time right now. This fire currently is under investigation. We don't know if it's lightning caused or not. We have an investigator coming onto the scene, and they'll make that determination.
It's kind of confusing. Okay, so one more time I want to explain where these evacuations are. So level 3 evacuations are happening right now south of Highway 904 and west of Griffith Road and north of the railroad tracks. If you live in this area, you know what that means. Again, that means you need to leave now. Level 2 evacuations are in place west of South Ritchie Road, which are north of the railroad tracks and a half a mile east of Griffith Road. And again, that just means that you need to be prepared to leave. We're going to be getting updates for you within the hour, so we'll have more coming up tonight at 5. Live in Cheney, I'm Tim Pham, KREM 2 News.
Tim, thank you for that live report. In the meantime, a lightning strike can spark a small fire, and as you know, it can smolder for days undetected before growing into a massive wildfire. And that is why crews are on alert to respond to these hot spots that could still flare up.
So for more on that, we turn to Whitney Ward.
Well, good afternoon to both of you. You know, with that many lightning strikes last night, there are bound to be some smoldering hotspots right now that we just don't know about yet. Oftentimes, it's an old tree or something that can ignite inside, and then it doesn't really flare up until days or even a week or more later. So usually it is glowing red, but it doesn't produce that much smoke. So they are especially hard to spot in the wooded areas until they catch wind and then can start to spread. So this is a photo you're looking at right now that we got last night of a tree getting hit by lightning. This was out at Lakeland Village in Medical Lake. It's a pretty impressive photo, and it also shows the great potential for fire. So it is very important that if you do see something like maybe a small stream of smoke off in the distance somewhere, you should definitely call that in and let the fire departments know, because sometimes it's going to be our local county crews who might go out and check it out, or they might get DNR involved depending on exactly where it is. Now, the important thing, of course, is that when these things are still small, it's pretty easy to hike in and put it out. Much harder to do that once it is spreading through the forest or getting closer to homes and businesses. So the bottom line at this point is, after a huge lightning storm like we had last night, now is the critical time to catch those hot spots, and fire crews will definitely be trying to stay on top of those over the next few days or as long as it takes. Tom, Jane.
Whitney, thank you very much. And with all of this in mind, we want to remind you as well, a burn ban is in effect for Spokane County now. It will stay in place until further notice. Unauthorized burning could land you a fine of up to $1,000 and 90 days in jail.
Well, many homes and businesses are still without power this afternoon. The thunderstorm caused a major power outage around the Spokane area. At peak outage, Avista says 21,000 customers were without power. And right now it looks like 2,500 customers are still waiting for their electricity to be restored. We'll keep you updated if those numbers change throughout the evening.
And our own Amanda Rowley was driving along High Drive on the South Hill during that storm.
Yeah. She came across a man whose van was crushed by a fallen tree. Well, she went back to the area to find out what it looks like today.
This is one of just many trees that fell during last night's storm. And when it fell, it ended up blocking one lane of traffic here on High Drive near the intersection of 37th Avenue. Now, when I got here last night, I came across a Good Samaritan who used the winch on his Jeep to move that tree out of the road. Now, that's the same tree that earlier in the night crashed on top of a man's van who was driving through here on High Drive.
I don't know how exactly explain. I just feel it like fall down in my car and just shake it and slow drive and just understand it's tree fall down in my car in the back.
Did you think it was a tree that hit your car?
Yeah, because it's strong wind, rain.
This is his van, the back side just crushed by the tree. He told me he was okay and not injured. Then we helped a Good Samaritan move the tree out of the road. Kobe Richardson was driving through High Drive when he saw this tree blocking one lane of traffic. He decided to use the winch on his Jeep to clear the road.
It's cool to, use the stuff that you got and help people get out of a sticky situation. So
yeah, and you talked to the gentleman that had the van here.
Yeah.
His car was hit by this tree. What do you?
That's just wrong place at the wrong time.
Thanks to Kobe's good deed, High Drive was clear once again for both lanes of traffic. Today, we return to the same spot. Now the road is all clear and there's no sight of the fallen tree, just remnants of its trunk. Other areas of Spokane saw much worse. Many trees are still blocking entire roadways and even fell on power lines.
We was watching TV and we hear this bam, and came outside, lightning was right up under us, so it was kind of scary.
Crews are spending most of the day working to clear the trees and restore power. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Wow. And we know, a lot of people were outside last night watching the lightning from the thunderstorm. May not be the greatest idea, though.
Yeah, there are so many dangers that come with these strong thunderstorms. KREM 2's Ian Smay shares the safest way for you to watch these impressive storms and what you should not do.
That's right. These storms can be very dangerous if you don't take some precautions. Thunderstorms injure about 300 people a year and kill over 100, according to Texas Tech University. We heard a lot of people were on their porches yesterday watching the lightning, but experts say this isn't safe. Here's what you should do in a storm. If you can hear thunder, you are close enough to the storm to be hurt or killed by lightning. According to the Red Cross, you should stay inside and close the windows, and stay inside for at least 30 minutes after the last thunderclap. If you do get stuck outside, crouch low to the ground, but don't touch it with anything other than the soles of your shoes. The surface of the ground can carry a stray charge from a nearby strike. Now for some don'ts. The National Weather Service says don't stand near trees or any tall or metal objects. Don't approach down power lines or damaged buildings. You could put yourself at risk of shock or falling objects. When you're inside, don't use baths or showers and stay away from any indoor walls made of metal or concrete floors, because that can also carry electricity. If you're driving, try to park safely. If lightning strikes your car or nearby, it could electrify the car's body, so avoid touching any metal and unplug electronics from the car. A lightning strike can even cause airbags to deploy if a car's electronics give out, so if you are parked, move your seat back. While it may be fun to watch these storms, please make sure to stay safe, and if you can, stay inside. Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
So with all of the severe weather going on, it is a good reminder to download the new KREM 2 weather app. It has enhanced weather features, including an interactive radar and a customized forecast based on your location.
And if you don't have the new KREM 2 app, delete your old one and then search KREM 2 in your app store for the new one. And it is absolutely free and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And I tell you what, I was using the weather app last night for the radar. I was out at the concert at Northern Quest, and I was like, I thought we were going to get maybe it was going to hit like maybe 90 minutes later, 2 hours later, like after the show possibly. But then it just blew up on the Palouse, and pointed it out to some of the officials out there as well, but they were well on top of it already. By the way, Northern Quest did an outstanding job of safely evacuating everybody from the metal grandstands into the actual resort.
Yeah, and people who were there say everybody was really orderly and calm and
You couldn't have handled
it. Was good.
Yeah, for what could have turned out to be a bad situation, was handled extremely well. And it was great to have the KREM 2 weather app and to track the radar.
Yeah.
So, okay, here it comes. We're leaving now.
Yes, indeed.
Right. All right, let's talk about weather, shall we? Let's do a quick recap of the storm, if we could. Can I put that up? I'm going to go to the WSI, put this up. Quick recap of the storm. Again, this is, incredibly damaging right here. 3,500 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. You heard Jane talk about that before. Even more impressive is that there were 30,000 episodes of lightning with this particular storm. A lot of times lightning is just cloud-to-cloud lightning, but it's the cloud-to-ground, obviously, which can kill you, but this is also what causes the wildfires. And I suspect we're going to see something popping up in Oregon, Washington, or into British Columbia, because that was the path of these storms. You just can't get that many cloud-to-ground lightning strikes and not fire up some sort of wildfires. 21,000 homes without power. I was driving through downtown Spokane last night, and it was eerie. There would be parts that were just pitch black. Obviously, the signals were not working, so everybody was doing a fine job of treating everything as a four-way stop. And then you'd travel another 4 blocks, and then the power was restored. And, of course, we talked about these damaging winds. My gosh, 61-mile-per-hour wind recorded out at Spokane International Airport, had a 62-mile-per-hour wind recorded out in the Millwood area. And then the next strongest wind that I could see recorded was actually up around Deer Park. But the strongest winds were reported here in the Spokane area of the entire inland Northwest, at least from the reports that I saw. And certainly you saw that damage last night and this morning. But it was a cool front. It has, we were at 94 degrees this time yesterday. Now we're at 74 degrees. You could feel it this morning when you went outside, noticeably cooler. Only place we're seeing some showers now, they're dissipating as they moved into areas of northern Idaho. You've got some rain up in British Columbia as well. You just cross your fingers that rain is raining on where the wildfires are kind of smoldering right now, or where those lightning strikes are smoldering. Again, looks pretty dry up north as those showers now begin to decrease. It's going to be a cool night tonight with an overnight low of 53, 85. That's right where we should be for your weather tomorrow. We'll look for that on Thursday. And then as we look ahead to the weekend, I've got more sunshine, mid-80s on Saturday, mid-80s on Sunday, and I don't see a lot of rain in the forecast. I'll check that 7-day outlook for you coming up in a few minutes.
All right. Hopefully no more wildfires. Tom, thank you. Well, we have some breaking news. South Korea just announcing North Korea fired 2 unidentified projectiles right into the ocean today.
Yeah, so they flew about 270 miles. They landed in waters between North Korea and Japan. U.S. defense leaders are analyzing the flight and trying to figure out exactly what was launched.